Hello there, dear ones. Welcome to the channel. It is wonderful to greet you once again. Are you all well today? I'm feeling drained today. It's entirely my fault. I was in the library between the universes and got carried away. By the time I looked up from my research, I had been awake for 3 days straight. Nonetheless, I am delighted to be surrounded by my friends again. This evening, I have another myth and legend poem for you. It is what I would consider a classic poem. It may even be familiar to some of you, but it is one of my favorites. We join the Lady of the Castle of White Dragons as she takes some air on a beautiful, clear morning. What she finds is something that astonishes her. Are you ready to hear about something magical? Well then, grab your blankets, put on your comfy socks, grab a healthy drink from the fridge, and settle in for another episode. Enjoy! The Dragon's Egg. The Lady of the Castle of White Dragons woke up on the morning of Christmas Day. It had been a full, fraught, and busy season. It was not odd she chose to slink away, for night had left the lady tossing, turning, dark-eyed and pale, come the breaking of dawn. Still, she, who had in battle slain foul monsters, was in no wise cowed, nor was she forlorn. Instead, in her nightdress, her cloak and her mantle, she climbed the stone steps to the aviary to visit her beloved kestrel, Tyrion. The bird preened, cried, and danced so prettily, delighted that his mistress, hair unbraided, like silver, silk cascading down her back, had taken time to come caress his feathers and kiss his head ere duty called her back. Tyrion, like Lady Marie, had awoken when the first ray of light touched his fawn head. Unlike Marie, Tyrion had taken to wing. He was not, like the other birds, hooded, but came and went as he wished, at liberty. That morning, while out flying, he had found something he showed his young mistress eagerly. He'd found it lying on the snowy ground. It was larger than a hen's or kestrel's egg. It would have put an eagle's egg to shame. The shell was thick, calcified like ancient stone, and had a ruddy hue, like a banked flame. Marie touched the egg, and found that it was warm. In her hand, it pulsed imperceptibly, as if she could feel the heartbeat within it, pressing at her palm, begging to be free. At the top of the egg, a ridge protruded. Through that ridge, a small hole pierced through cleanly. "It wants a mother," Marie whispered softly. "Tyrion, would you please give the egg to me?" Tyrion made a soft sound deep down in his throat, then nudged the egg upwards into her hand. Marie smiled at him. She stroked the bird's soft chin, then said, "Right, egg, will keep you where I am." That said, she reached into a hidden pocket of her robe and pulled out a chain of best fine silver, looped it through the hole and finished. She settled the egg snugly on her breast. She caressed Tyrion one more time and kissed him, but paused on hearing the matins bell ring. It was calm in the aviary, peaceful, but Marie knew her people were waiting. They expected to see her in the chapel. Then, after breakfast, they'd go to the tree and find a gift for every lord and lady. Each servant, indeed, for everybody. After that, there would be the entertainments. Some merry, others slow, calm, and sedate. 12 days of them began today and would stretch until the end of the full Advent date. It would be loud and noisy. Deep in her heart, Marie wished she had nothing else to do but snuggle up in bed. It would be easy. Still, Marie would always her duty do. So down she went, with Tyrion's cry following, the strange egg safe against her gentle breast. She washed quickly and dressed, and so in the end, she entered the church ahead of the rest. Once prayers were said, and many carols were sung. The day, for most, progressed right happily. But Marie felt odd, flushed, and slightly dizzy. She told her husband, "Dearest, forgive me. I am not cross, ill, or disdaining the day. I'm simply cold, and also slept poorly. I promise, when I've had food and some spiced wine, I'll be better able to be merry." She prophesied well. In the grand feasting room, the company sat down to break their fast. King Arthur could not have hosted so grandly. Each guest was filled, from the first to the last. Food settled Marie, and rather more oddly, it calmed the egg that glowed against her skin. Her husband noticed when he asked about it. Marie, at first, simply glowered at him, but then she smiled and told him about Tyrion, and how he'd gifted the egg that morning, how Tyrion had found it and brought it safely into the aviary, how she'd seen it and known it was meant to be close to her. That's why it was lying against her skin. She explained how she'd taken a chain, looped it through the small hole that had been awaiting atop the egg, then clipped it around her throat. Marie's husband frowned. He'd seen decorations like that on a sword hilt, a scabbard, or coat, but not on somebody living. He loved Marie and would do anything for her, yet he saw the pain in her blue eyes, caught her quick breath, and that she was flushing. Her excitement, not something she disguised. Most of all, he saw that her chest was rising, her color high, her rapid breaths flowing. Concern swelled. It was so unlike his darling to lose her head over a single thing. And so he said, "Dearest, as it's Christmas Day, I ask that you give the strange egg to me." Marie paused. What could she do? It was custom on Christmas not to refuse such a plea. Marie adored him. She had walked through fire to stand by his side. She should not protest. But the egg was hers. She knew it in her bones. Of all her gifts this year, it was the best. At long last, Queen Marie reached behind her head, undid the chain, and handed it to him. Her husband took the egg, with thanks, and held it. Cradled gently, he brought it close to him. Luckily, Marie didn't have long to feel the emotions that her poor heart did rack, because as soon as the egg left her warm skin, the shell gave out a loud, almighty crack. What followed was a flash, bright, even blinding. It made all the guests cover up their eyes. There was a sizzle like meat on a griddle, or a chef cooking long tubers and fries. Smoke stung the eyes of the assembly, and when the smoke was gone, a tiny figure sat beside the king's roast beef, a dragon, peacock blue, the size of a baby cat. Among its blue scales, there were ones of silver. It had quick, black eyes and small, sharpened teeth. The thing made a sound like a high steam whistle, and smoke encircled its head like a wreath. While Marie's husband was drawn aback, staring, his eyes and mouth open like all the rest, Marie smiled and reached her arms out to the beast. The tiny dragon leapt towards her breast and snuggled against the rosy flesh, purring like a cat contented by a stove's heat. Breaths were drawn in worry and alarm, but Marie said, "Sillies, the baby is sweet. He wants a mother. He will never hurt me. He only needs someone to keep him warm." Who knows how long he laid until Tyrion found him. out there in the snow, trapped in last night's storm. As if in agreement, the little dragon nuzzled closer to her, its nose smoking. Marie crooned in delight at the pale smoke rings and dropped a gentle kiss on top of him. The castle knights, scowling, beseeched their lady to wrench the tiny creature from her breast. Marie scoffed. "Do you think that he would let me take him from me if you'd hazard the test?" One by one, the knights approached the baby, who gave not one of them a single glance. The dragon didn't hold to Marie with claws, or teeth or hands. He let the humans dance. Not one of them could stir the dragon an inch. It coiled its tail lazily round the arm of the queen, who laughed gaily at the specter of hardy knights undone by dragon's charm. In the end, it was agreed Marie would raise up the dragon she'd snatched out of the storm. It would have a nest with the royal couple. The queen would see it was kept safe and warm, well fed and safe. When he grew, the young dragon, named Chick, would be housed safely and close by, so that his mother could always hear his voice. Should he utter a laugh, snore, or a cry, no one knew on that first magical Christmas that Chick was not only a dragon-born, but a creature of a much older magic, who held both a dragon and human form. What they did was see Chick was safe and merry, ate well, and ended his day happily. Although his true mother had been lost to him, his new mother adored him completely. So it was that, long ago, the kingdom gained the one who would one day defend them all. The dragon who'd be a brother to princes and princesses, would answer every call for hope and help. One day, young Chick would be called Icewind the Great and hero of Capri. He'd find love and be blessed with 5 sweet children. But on that snowy Christmas morning, he was just a babe and only a saint in red, who'd held a dying dragon in his arms, knew who had taken her, egg to winged Tyrion, then to Marie, who'd shielded from all harm. Subscribe to become a delicious darling. So, how did you like it? I love dragons. I simply cannot get enough of myths and stories about them. In fact, I have found a whole book of poems based on different dragons and their legends. If my wonderful friends agree, I will use those poems in next week's episode. This week's word for listeners who made it to the end of the episode is flying. Please drop it in the comments, and then tell me what you would do if you came face to face with a real dragon. If you want to keep Apanth and me from being chased by a dragon, please hit the like, subscribe or follow buttons, and click the notification bell to become a genuine delicious darling. Tonight, I go straight to bed and hope that I get to sleep before Apanth decides to double as my hat. So until next time, my beautiful, wonderful friends, may your days hold myth, magic and wonder and sleep well, my delicious darlings.